We are at the beginning of Module 2. This is the Are You Ready page, 28. And this is really just a preview of the kind of skills that you're going to need to be successful in Module 2. I suggest trying what you can and then watching the video to check answers. And if you need hints, that'd be fine too. I want to point out to you though that for each time there's a set of questions, there's a nice hint up here that kind of tells you what like a multiple is. So let's go check it out. Numbers 1 through 3, the directions read, list the first 5 multiples of the number. So notice what they did for the example. Looks like the number was 5. The first multiple of 5 is 5 times 1, which is 5. The second multiple of 5 is 5 times 2, which is 10. And you'll notice the pattern is basically going to be just counting or adding up by 5s. So if I think of it that way, 7 times 1 is 7. That's the first multiple of 7. Then 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 28, and 35. A lot of kids just describe this as saying counting by that number, and that's fine, but just don't forget that the first multiple of every number is itself. 11, 22, 33, and I'm going to hit dot 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 because I know you can finish that one on your own. The first 5 multiples of 15 are 15, 30, 15 times 3 is 45, 15 times 4 is 60, and the fifth multiple of 15 is 75. All right, now you've reviewed multiples. Let's check out factors. The factors of a number are all of the numbers that divide evenly into that number. For example, the factors of 24 include number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'm not going to put 5, even though you almost fell into that trick. And the reason I'm not going to put 5 is because 5 doesn't divide evenly into 24. But then I want you to notice something. The next number up there is 6, and the reason I know 6 goes into 24 is because it's a partner with 4. So I do this little rainbow method, and what I do is I list all the small factors of a number, and then I figure out their partners. So I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to go back to 3. How many times does 3 go into 24? Well, it's 3 times 8. And then I'm going to go back to 2. How many times does 2 go into 24? It's 12. And how many times does 1 go into 24? It's 24. So a couple of things to point out. For everything except for 0, the first factor of every number besides 0 is 1. And the last factor for every number is itself. And this rainbow method, the other thing I want to point out is this rainbow method is a really nice way to check your work. Unless you forget a complete pair of factors, it really kind of helps you make sure you don't leave any off. So let's check out number 36. The first factor of every number besides 0 is 1. And if I want to go a little out of order, that'd be fine. What I can do is the partners this way. 1 times 36 is 36. And then 2 goes into every even number. And how many times does 2 go into 36? 18. 3 goes into 36, 12 times. 4 goes into 36, 9 times. And 5 doesn't, but 6 does. How many times? Well, 6 goes into 36 itself. So 6 is its own partner. We don't need to list 6 twice. So I know that doesn't really work for the rainbow. I could do this right here. 6 times 6, 4 times 9 is 36, 3 times 12 is 36, 2 times 18 is 36, and 1 times 36 is 36. Now, for those of you that aren't super good at your multiplication facts, this is going to be a time to remind you that the better you are at your multiplication facts, the easier factor problems will be for you. And you should also probably be checking your work using a multiplication chart. All right, so let's check out 45. 1 is the first factor of 45, then 2. I'm just kidding, I was tricking you. 2 doesn't go into odd numbers, and 45 is an odd number because it ends in 5. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. 3 goes into 45 though. And 4 doesn't, 5 does, 6, no, 7, no, 8, no, 9 does. Now, I know at this point that I'm done thinking about the partners because 5 times 9 is 45. So now I just need to think of the rest of the partners. It's going to be 3 times, and I'll look on my multiplication chart and I'll see that 3 times 15 is 45, and then 1 times 45 is 45. And 32. First factor of 32 is 1. And then 2 goes into 32 because it's an even number. 3 does not, but 4 does. 5, 6, 7, 8. So once again, once I get to a number, that kind of shows me I'm at the middle pair, 4 times 8. So then I can just do 2 times its partner. 2 goes into 32 16 times. And 1 goes into 32 32 times. All right, well, that's a good review of factors. Now let's check out this distributive property. This looks a lot more complicated than it really is. All right, so let's go up to the example and check out this distributive property. So the problem on the left is 7 times 14. Some kids wouldn't know how to do 7 times 14, just in their head, maybe if they used a multiplication chart. I want you to see what they're doing here. They're taking 14 and they're distributing it out to being 10 plus 4. Let me just ask you a simple question. Is 10 plus 4 equal to 14? Well, it is. Now, you might think to yourself, well, why are they doing that? Because 10 times 7 is actually pretty simple. That's 70. And 7 times 4 is pretty simple. That's 28. So really what this is kind of a fancy way of describing how to do something like 7 times 14 mentally. So let's check this out down here. Notice on the left is 8 and on the left is 8. On the right is 15. We want you to break 15 down into 10 plus 5. Just like at the top, 14 was broken down into 10 plus 4. This one's going to be broken down into 10 plus 5. And I think I kind of want to go over and do number 9 now. 6 is on the left and 6 is on the left. 17 is going to get broken down into 10 plus 7. Now let's go finish our problem number 8 on the left. So in the bubbles here would be the 8. And I want to show you why. Check out what I'm kind of circling right here. This means 8 times. It means to multiply 8 by everything inside the parentheses. So the first number is going to be 8 times 10. So I'm going to put a 10 here. And the second number is going to be 8 times 5. So I'm going to put an 8 and a 5 here. And 8 times 10 is equal to 80. That goes in this bubble. And 8 times 5 is 40. That goes in this bubble. And now I can just add up. 8 plus 4 is 12. And annex that 0. I'm going to get 120. And if you don't believe that, just multiply 8 times 15 or use a multiplication chart and you'll see that that's correct. So like I said, we're really just breaking down the larger number and doing some multiplication mentally. 6 times 17, that seems kind of hard, but I could definitely do 6 times 10. That's 60. And then I could do 6 times 7. That's 42. And 40 plus 60 would be 100, plus those other 2 is going to be 102. And if you weren't sure of that, you could do 17 times 6 and you're going to get 102. Okay, good job. You have completed page 28.